If you can't beat them, then you pop them. You can't man them, then you mop them. You can't stand them, then you drop them. You pop them, cause we pop them like overred and vodka. What? C3, okay, a millionaire. I'm a young money millionaire.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Stack. This, of course, is the Bitcoin News Weekly Edition. I'm your host, Rob Wallace. It's been a crazy weekend. Lots of headlines that are from out of space, literally. And I think we should dive right into it because Bitcoin, again, comes out on top despite the price fluctuations and all the FUD out there. Bitcoin is still thought of as the world's most pristine asset. And let's dive into exactly why this is so. All right. So the stories that hold the global financial system together are starting to crack. We know central banks prepare for asset bubbles, wars, and cyber attacks. But this week, the Bank of England was formally warned that an official confirmation of alien life by the US government could trigger a total collapse of the British economy. While aliens themselves will not be raiding the banks, this analyst predicts that all trust in the system would collapse. What she is describing is known as an ontological shock. This is the moment when the assumptions people rely on to understand the world no longer hold. Modern finance is built on the belief that governments are in control. It relies on the idea that institutions are competent and that the system is fundamentally knowable. Once you remove the belief in the state authority, the pricing model for every fiat asset on Earth stops functioning. And this analyst's warning was pretty blunt. She said that if governments cannot secure their own airspace, they cannot credibly guarantee their currencies. When she outlined where capital might flee, she predicted a flight to gold and Bitcoin as the only assets existing outside of the logic of government promises. However, she admits that gold faces a unique vulnerability. If the confirmation of alien life includes advanced spacefaring technology, gold's terrestrial scarcity is gone, as asteroid mining turns a safe haven into a common commodity. Headlines about governments and aliens get clicks, but the underlying theme here is fragility. It is about a financial system so dependent on narrative control that even the possibility of a higher unknown is viewed as an extinction-level event. As an open protocol, Bitcoin relies on neither belief nor authority, but simply math. It functions whether governments are trusted or not. Its rules do not change based on credibility, competence, or technology. In a world where the prevailing narratives crafted in the shadow of World War II no longer hold the same weight, and as social ties weaken, the value of Bitcoin as a verifiable property grows ever greater in importance. Bitcoin is a hedge against the collapse of the shared story. All right, everybody, let's dive right in. Today, I am very grateful to be joined by Roxy, co-founder of the Plan B Network. Roxy, how you doing today, man?
Good, and you? Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Yes, so last week we had your fellow co-founder, Giacomo, on the show. It was awesome to have him. And today we have you because you guys, again, have something very special coming up this next month. Please tell us about Plan B and what you guys got cooking.
Yeah, sure. So thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. Plan B is basically trying to do global Bitcoin education around the world. We have a lot of courses that are free and open source in every language. But what we run every year specifically is a school. It's called the Plan B School, and it's a 4-month intensive learning program to really get your hands dirty in Bitcoin, to get a job, to join the industry, to jump the builders, and really step up your game. And the program is going to start in 3 weeks. It's going to run for 3 months with masterclass from a lot of very famous co-founders, guest speakers, rockstar developers. And the goal is for you to get into the top 25 students and join the summer school in Lugano during the summer. So it's basically it's a program for people that really want to move to the next level. You are hearing about the news, you are building your side project, but if you really want to get a job in the top company of the industry, if you want to create your startup, pitch in front of VC, then that is kind of the program you're looking for to really get started. It's for anyone that is very curious and try to make it. So that's kind of the program we are bootstrapping now. It has been running for 3 years quite efficiently. And come and try to join it. And I'm happy to talk about news, aliens, why energy money is the future, why having a system that is open 24/7 allow you to basically go all in if the aliens show up on Sunday, because if they show up on Sunday, banks are closed, market is closed. So wait 24 hours until you can move money around. It's not going to make it when the whole system collapses. Anyway, back to the news.
Nice, dude. I love it. So yeah, so cool what you guys are building over there in Lugano. And of course, anybody from around the world can join this course starting in February. And you're looking for professionals from different fields, right? Whether it's marketing or law or science, no matter what you're good at, come and get that Bitcoin education so you can further your field in the Bitcoin space, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have a two-track running simultaneously. We will have developers and business. So for developer, you really get dirty with like layers. So we'll go for Spark, Arc, RGB, Cashew. And for the so that's the developer track. So you need to know how to dev, obviously, not just quick vibe coding, even though it could help. And for the business part, it's really going to be about building your own business, from business model in the Bitcoin space, getting the right talent, UX, UI of the Bitcoin ecosystem, entrepreneurship classes, so really accountant, etc. So you need to be good at a fiat job and be like, okay, I'm tired of supporting that system. I want to make a difference. And you will basically take your skills from the fiat job into the Bitcoin industry, and you will get that knowledge to do the gap between those two.
Bada bang. Love it. Very cool, Roxy. Nice. Well, you are right. We are here today to dive into the headlines. And what are we doing? We're breaking down our newsletter. Bitcoin News Weekly comes out every single Monday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. Then we hop on live with a new guest every week to break it down, what is actually happening, and get their unique perspective in the Bitcoin ecosystem to understand from their point of view what these headlines actually mean. So this one was kind of groundbreaking, eye-popping, pretty weird, but also pretty interesting to hear how central banks are thinking about aliens, fragility, bank runs, and how Bitcoin plays into it. So the title of the newsletter this week is Bank of England Warns Alien Disclosure Could Crash Markets and Send Bitcoin Soaring. This lad right here is the governor of the Bank of England, Sir Andrew Bailey, and he would have his hands full if the aliens did show up. So let's dive right into this headline. Bank of England former analyst Helen McCaw warns confirmation of extraterrestrial life could spark instant financial chaos and bank runs, predicting a flight into Bitcoin as trust in backed assets collapses. And this was the article right here. We're not making this up. This is coming out of the Times, the Sunday London Times. Bank of England must plan for financial crisis sparked by aliens. So just dive into a couple words here. The Bank of England must plan for a financial crisis being triggered by an official announcement confirming the existence of alien life, one of its former policy experts has claimed. Helen McCaw served as a senior analyst in financial security at the UK's central bank, preparing for events that could impact the economy. She has now written to Andrew Bailey, the bank's governor, urging him to organize contingencies for the possibility that the White House may one day confirm that we are not alone in the universe. Okay, so then of course, she's talking about how there's been more and more chatter of aliens. Actually, since I just realized it was 2017 that the front page of the New York Times actually put out this expose saying that the government has footage been interacting with these beings, shapes that they don't even know what they are, but for years. And they've been documenting them, but they've been keeping them hidden. And since then, there's been more and more disclosure in Senate, in these public hearings, talking about what the government has found over the decades when it comes to these unidentified flying objects. So, Roxy, before we get into the financial implications of alien disclosure, where are you on the alien debate? Do you think they're real? Have they been here forever? What's going on?
I would love for them to show up. I think it will be entertaining. Like New Arc completely changes. We got a pandemic. Imagine now we have like aliens showing up. Sadly, I think out of the time of the universe, probably in our lifetime, we will not see them. Do they exist? I'd like to think so. Do I want global space opera to happen? Do I want the human to flee and create its own civilization, and the human are the aliens for us today what we are? I would love to. Do I believe in aliens right now? Not until I see it. Do I stack Bitcoin in case they show up? Yes, I would say that's one of the reasons. It was not in my list, but I will say yes, I am.
Okay, so then what about the things that are in the sky already that are inexplicable, that we can't understand? Do you think it's just advanced government technology, or what's going on here?
Probably bad quality images, and now with AI it's gonna be even more fun to just make alien appear, and will be so realistic that we will have like footage, video. It will be hard to tell the truth. So I'm really happy to see where the imagination of a lot of people unfortunately will go forward. uh, but yeah, no, I don't
Okay,
believe in
so
aliens.
you're open to it, but you don't think that they're here. You don't think well, the American government disagrees with you. A host
Damn.
of senior American officials, including the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, also the new president of Venezuela, some might call him, the New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand, and James Clapper, a former director of national intelligence, have recently indicated their belief in the possibility of intelligent non-human life. Rubio, a close ally of President Trump, told the makers of the recently released UFO documentary, The Age of Disclosure, "We've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours."
The
Okay.
Russian.
So, the Russians, yes. Maybe they have some secret technology that we do not know. But now they're planning for it. That's what's happening over here at the central bank in England. This month, the Sunday Times disclosed previously classified state files, which showed the British military sought to obtain extraterrestrial technology after receiving credible intelligence that UFOs appear to be real and could outperform any known craft. Okay, so what is the Bank of England saying? McCaw, who worked for the Bank of England for 10 years until 2012, insists that politicians and bankers can no longer afford to dismiss talk of alien life and snigger about little green men. The United States government appears to be partway through a multi-year process to declassify and disclose information on the existence of a technology, advanced non-human intelligence responsible for unidentified anomalous phenomenon. So governments around the world are looking at America. They're saying, okay, you're giving this bit by bit. And she says, if the UIP proves to be of non-human origin, we may have to acknowledge the existence of a power or intelligence greater than any government with the potentially unknown intentions. It is entirely possible that the government leadership and their central banks have not been properly briefed on the topic, and that UAP disclosure is likely to induce ontological shock, keyword ontological shock, and provoke psychological responses with material consequences. Okay, so then here's another question for you. Let's just say aliens do exist and that the government did admit it. Do you think that people would freak out?
100%. Like, are you not? What do you do if Alan Trump? Like, do you go to your mundane daily life, or do you just say, yeah, you know what, fuck it, like let's just do whatever you want, like let's just go to a bar and drink, and then figure it out. If the world survive a week, then maybe I will go back to work. If not, I will just party for a week. Like, it's fucking alien coming to Earth.
Well, we know what you'd be doing, dude. Yes, you just hit up the pub, dude. Yes, because all the rules go out the window, right? That's what ontological shock is.
100%. Like, what can they bring? They can bring better technology. They can bring unlimited energy. They can just destroy everything. They can buy everything. It's like, if today there's the AI that rules the world, it takes time to come here. Now it's like one dude, one entity show up, and we're just powerless. We are ant compared to them. Well, honestly, at that point, I will just like chill and wait and see, because there's nothing I can do. What you would do?
What I would do? Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think as Bitcoiners, you tackle with the big questions, right? Like, we already know that like the financial system is based on a lie. The fiat money is essentially a Ponzi scheme. And yet we still go about our daily lives. We interact. We are a part of this financial system. So I think Bitcoiners are pretty good at that cognitive dissonance part, where our whole entire world wouldn't crumble if something like this was to be true. I would not be surprised. I mean, I think something's going on up there. And I do think that the governments know a lot more than what they're telling us. So I personally don't think I would be too shocked and might go along with my daily life. But it's those who haven't tackled these big questions, who think that everything is normal. What the government says is completely 100% true. They would never hide anything from you. Those are the people that are truly at risk of freaking out.
Probably I will do some business. Like, to be honest, there's probably some arbitrage to be made. Like, people will freak out. It will be good opportunity, and you don't know what they're gonna bring. But I've
And
always
that's
traveled and tried to see cultures. It's a new cultures. I would go travel to them.
yes, as they have come travel to us. So yes, this is what she says right here. There might be extreme price volatility in financial markets due to catastrophizing or euphoria, and a collapse in confidence in market participants feel uncertain on how to price assets using any of the familiar methods. There might be a rush to perceive safe assets such as physical gold, other precious metals, and some types of government bonds. I don't think anybody's going out and buying government bonds if the aliens come. Alternatively, precious metals might lose their status as perceived safe assets if people speculate that new spacefaring technologies will soon increase the supply of precious metals. So then she's bringing up the asteroid mining argument right here, right? If aliens come, then that means that the whole entire universe is open to mining. Gold is no longer scarce. What's the point of it? And then look at this. This is Bank of England saying there might be a rush to digital currencies such as Bitcoin, which may prove appealing if people question the legitimacy of government and lose trust in government-backed assets. So that's the key right there. Do you think people would flee to Bitcoin if the aliens showed up?
The funny thing is they don't say why Bitcoin could work. Well, because even if the alien use fucking Sphere to get all the energy of the galaxy, they cannot break the adjustment difficulty of Bitcoin and mine more Bitcoin. So this is why alien cannot completely destroy it yet or whatever. I don't think the times get that. So I don't think a lot of people get that. So they will be like, hey, Bitcoin, it's not going to be saved. Your alien is going to destroy it. And they will be, yeah, but it's going to be harder to destroy it. It's robust enough to survive government. I think it's robust enough to survive aliens. But do people understand? I think Bitcoin will tank like everything else. Everyone will panic. It will be a great buy opportunity if we survive a week of aliens. And then I will be back to, you know what, it's not going to change the world. Everything will change, but Bitcoin will maybe stay operational way stronger than the rest of the world, to be honest.
Okay, cool. So I want you to put on your teacher's cap right now and explain that point right there. Say that this reporter was in the room with us and you had to explain to her, okay, even if the aliens have all the energy in the universe, if they have a Dyson sphere, why does that not break Bitcoin?
Well, simply because there's a built-in Bitcoin code that is the adjustment difficulty, meaning that if there is more miners, every 2 weeks, the adjustment difficulty, so the number of energy needed to get more Bitcoin, adjust, whether go to the bottom or to the up. So it's either harder to mine Bitcoin or easier to mine Bitcoin. And that takes time to be triggered. So even if you put like a lot of miners in, then the adjustment difficulty will trigger after sometimes, and it will go back to having one block every 10 minutes, which is how Bitcoins are created, right? So they will never be able basically to create unlimited amount of Bitcoin really quickly. They will create a certain amount of blocked really quickly, then the difficulty will adjust and it will go back to the 10 minutes average of a block. And then maybe they can go to another galaxy and get even more energy and figure it out how the light speed will make it so they can mine the block. But it's not going to change. It's still going to be readjusted after 2016 blocks, more or less, I think. So it's kind of a never-ended journey of it's going to be 10 minutes regardless of what happened. And when the alien would leave, because they will be like, okay, there is no more things to suck out of these planets, they will remove their machines and they will go to another galaxy. Then the difficulty will go down and we will go back to 10 minutes block instead of probably a month to mine it, as the network will stabilize. So aliens cannot destroy the creation of Bitcoin horizon time.
And that's the beautiful thing about Bitcoin. Arguably, the most brilliant aspect of the whole entire Bitcoin network is the difficulty adjustment and how Satoshi created it so that no matter how much computational force is put behind the Bitcoin network, it will self-adjust in order to ensure those 10-minute block times and can adjust for advancing technology. As we've just seen in the last 15 years of Bitcoin miner development, these machines that we have today are standard deviations greater in terms of their computational power than the one that we started with.
Maybe something that could be funny is that if they have so much power, then all the miners on Earth will like collide into the same pool to kind of get against the alien. And so then it will be like a race of, okay, let's get all of our energy so they don't break the network too much. That could be something weird.
That could be something weird. And then, I mean, of course, you bring up the good point that, I mean, they've been talking about this since the 80s. Ronald Reagan brought it up that the only thing that could unite planet Earth, all the nations to come together, is the threat of an alien attack, right? And so if we were to put on our conspiracy hats, we could say, all right, well, maybe they would even fake this in order to have the governments unite together and even have even more control, right? So, but that's going down even deeper and deeper rabbit holes. And we have some real Bitcoin news to talk about today. So let's get back into that. We are back in the newsletter, Bitcoin News Weekly. And up top, we have the adoption section. Always some good, feel-good news up top. Kicking it off with Geyser Fund. Do you know Geyser Fund?
Yeah, I've known it since a long time. Know the founder, really cool guys, really cool project. We use it actually in the academy to showcase many ideas, plebs project, and also reconduct our students that do want to get funded to go there, post it. It's good marketing for them. It could get them their first sats. And it's also a good idea to look at it often to benchmark kind of the market and what are the innovation coming up by the plebs. It's really cool.
And they just launched a new program here. It's called the All or Nothing Bitcoin crowdfunding, where it allows creators to raise only what they truly need, with funds released only if goals are met and automatic refunds if they are not. So what does that mean? It means if you have a project up on Geyser, before it was people would just fund you and that money would go to you directly. Now the money is held in escrow essentially until you hit a certain goal. And once you do, it is released to the creator and they can go ahead and make the project. If they do not meet that goal, the money goes back to the people who donated. So no more partial funding. It's global, non-custodial, seamless UX. And one of the examples, of course, is this. This is the first one using All or Nothing on the Geyser Fund website. And it is the wallet called Satoshi's card. And this thing is pretty cool. It's about the size of a credit card. And it is a Bitcoin wallet that you can go around and pay for things with. So if you got a QR code right there, you take out your little Satoshi's wallet, take a picture of it, and you can confirm the payment. Boom, send. And just like lightning, boom, it is go Lightning Network, go. Done, right? So this is a project that you can help fund. They are looking to raise $6,399, and you can go and put some money in. And if they're able to hit that, then they can go do their manufacturing run, right? It takes a lot of money to go to a factory and get a limited batch created. This All or Nothing campaign, if they're able to get that money, they can go to the factory and get them made. So big things out of Geyser Fund. Love to see it. We had Mick on the show on Friday to talk about this and had to highlight it in the newsletter because we think that they are doing real grassroots Bitcoin adoption work over the Geyser, and the world needs to know about it. Very cool. So yes, have you ever put a project up on Geyser?
Yeah, I did. We were doing some education in El Salvador. We were doing like an hackathon for our school, and the students actually made a Geyser fund to fundraise money to buy cleaning supply for their schools. They got sats from around the world and went to the local shops to orange peel them and buy cleaning material for the school supplies. And that was the project we ran with the kids. It was super cool because they had to set up their Lightning nodes to connect it to their Geyser account, get the sats flowing from around the world, force the merchant to download the wallet to accept Bitcoin, and then they could like brag at the school that the school was now clean and they had like football ball because of the sats they received. So Geyser is a really cool tool, and indeed shout out to the guy. They're doing quite a good job, and I'd love to see more projects actually getting more funding. I think this is the struggle. Their app is really cool. They have the membership feature. I think now they have an all or nothing. The problem is more that a lot of Bitcoiners are afraid to spend, or there is just not that critical mass to fund all of those cool projects. because as you know, Bitcoiners are usually entrepreneurs, but you need clients too. So it's kind of the struggle.
Yeah, Bitcoiners like to hold on to their Bitcoin, but it's also important that we spread it around and keep that velocity moving, because if all the Bitcoin just sits there, then is it really money? It needs to be used. So don't be afraid about it. And speaking of using Bitcoin as money, we got to give a shout out to our guys over at Rhino. Rhino is the team that is one of the main sponsors of this show. And what are they fixing? They're fixing the fact that previously getting your financial services for Bitcoin all in one place was basically impossible. Well, Rhino is changing that, because Rhino is the next generation Bitcoin app designed to handle all of your needs. What can you do? Well, first, of course, you can buy Bitcoin at some of the lowest fees anywhere. That means more sats for every dollar that you spend. You can make lightning payments, like just as you saw in that video, instantaneous payments around the world with near zero fees. Send cash globally. You got friends or family in another country. You want to send them money very quickly at some of the lowest cost. Forget Western Union. You want to use Rhino. And of course, you can DCA, set the levels you want to buy, what time of the day, of the week, percentage off of the price right now, and it will automatically make those purchases for you. And coming soon, Rhino, they're going to completely change the game. Why? Because you'll be able to do bill pay, direct deposit, borrow against your Bitcoin, and even save for retirement, all in the app. And of course, security is a top priority. Rhino protects your Bitcoin with biometric verification, 24/7 fraud protection, and the confidence of knowing your Bitcoin is never rehypothecated. So head over to rhinobitcoin.com or just tap the link below in the YouTube description. Use the code Bitcoin News, and they'll give you $10 of Bitcoin straight into your Rhino wallet right away. No problem, because you signed up as a loyal viewer of the show. So Rhino is built to keep you in control of your Bitcoin every minute of the day. Check them out, rhinobitcoin.com. All right, I want to bring Roxy back up. And Roxy, I want to talk to you about quantum. There was two stories about quantum this week. So first one was, let me make sure we get this good. It was the fact that over in the market section, Jefferies, which is a big financial institution over here in America, they removed Bitcoin from their fear and greed portfolio, shifting the 10% allocation into gold and miners, citing rising quantum computing risks to Bitcoin's long-term store of value thesis. So yeah, these guys said, I'm scared of quantum. I want out. We're taking it out of this portfolio of ours, the fear and greed portfolio. And Jefferies had been in on Bitcoin for a very long time. And in counteract to that, we also see BTQ Technologies launching Bitcoin Quantum, a permissionless Bitcoin fork testnet, enabling miners and developers to stress test quantum-resistant transactions on a live network with the block explorer and mining pool. So before we dive into the details of this BTQ, I want to know your thoughts. Is quantum a real threat for Bitcoin?
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to destroy Bitcoin. I think we will need to adapt some pieces of technology. Tether got their new Tether T, the last model, to be quantum ready. I know a lot of people are scared. I know it's a good marketing sales. It buzz quantum. It could be. It's been a lot. When it comes to fundamentally, can it break Bitcoin? No. Will it be able to more easily break some past addresses and so private key of Bitcoin? It will at some point, but even without quantum, someone will guess one of Satoshi's key at some point. It's just math and time. Is it good that we develop solution and we prepare and we discuss and we do research and people lose money by researching and it's the market doing this thing? Yes, I think I thought my money, so I'm happy they do it. Will I put my money to be extremely worried today about quantum? Not really. Will I stop having BTC because of it, and will I decrease my allocation? Probably not. Will I move to a better security model and different type of addresses in the future? Yes, probably I will keep myself updated with the changes, and I will probably switch security. But we always knew that security will be a moving target. The mining, like the security of Bitcoin as a network, is not affected by quantum. The security of some wallet could be, but again, if they start to break that, I think the banking system is gonna be way more vulnerable, and there's way bigger problem to deal with than Bitcoin at that point in time. So keep an eye, secure yourself, get a clean security setup for your Bitcoin, multi-sig, cold storage, seed plates, entropy with dice, and you should be okay.
Yeah, long-term quantum, we have to admit it is a threat, right? We don't know when it will come, when it will be, but this is something that could actually break Bitcoin. And Satoshi even talked about it, that we will probably need to update the algorithm at some point because this is a true threat and it exists. And the question is when. And many people were saying it would take 20, 30, 40 years before we'd be anywhere close to the quantum computing ability to actually take a public key and then reverse order it and get the private keys from that. But it seems as if that timeline is shortening now. Some people are saying as close as by 2028, there could be a quantum computer running stores to break Bitcoin, essentially. So I don't think that we should be freaking out about it, but it is good to start the conversation. The longer we wait, the more vulnerable essentially we do become. So there are different ideas out there. Of course, there's BIP 360 that would allow us to get quantum resistant addresses, but that requires people moving their Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
And if everybody moved their Bitcoin or needed to move their Bitcoin to new addresses, just the line in the mempool would take between 3 to 6 months for everybody just to move their Bitcoin, right? So it's better that we start. What you disagree?
No, I was gonna say people are gonna pay a lot to be at the front of that line.
Yes, they are. Yes, people are going to pay a lot to be at the front of to be sure that they change addresses before quote unquote Q day. But that's why I think it is good to be thinking about this now. And while this BTQ, let's bring this up. Bring up the article. So start up here. Quantum computing threatens the $2 trillion Bitcoin network. BTQ Technologies says it has a defense. What are they doing about it? A point glossed over much parallel universe reporting about the latest quantum chips. Among those efforts to develop quantum-resistant algorithms is to replace today's public key encryption with an alternative known as lattice-based signing. One approach to protecting the $2 trillion Bitcoin blockchain has been unveiled by post-quantum cryptography specialist BTQ Technologies. Bitcoin Quantum, a permissionless Bitcoin fork testnet, it says meets the challenge. This is a public runnable network where miners, developers, researchers, and users can stress test quantum resistant transactions and surface the operational trade-offs before any mainnet level migration conversation becomes urgent. According to BTQ's head of quantum innovation, Chris Tam, the system includes a block explorer and a mining pool, providing immediate accessibility. So pretty cool. I'm glad people are thinking about it, and it should be by no means scare you out of your Bitcoin. But as a community, we know that, one of the hardest things about Bitcoin is getting consensus, right? And making sure that the community agrees on one path forward and is able to do it. So there's going to be a lot of discourse and heated debate when it comes to making Bitcoin quantum defensible, but we need to do it. And then one more question on quantum for you. No matter what happens, if we are able to build quantum defense, it means moving our coins. What happens to the lost coins, and particularly Satoshi's coins in that case? Are you for A, freezing them, or B, leaving them as they are and leaving them vulnerable to quantum attack to then be dumped on the market? What would be your preferred way?
It's gonna be B. I cannot tolerate that we freeze Satoshi's coins because maybe he's not out and he wants to spend them later to build a fucking nation with the alien because he was waiting for them to show up. Maybe he's the alien that was waiting for the price to go up. But no, if maybe it's Satoshi, but how can you be sure it's Satoshi's coins? Yes, we have the Satoshi's pattern and we can estimate the amount of coins he has, but still, like, what about the other OG? Do you freeze those coins too? What about Alfine? Like, there's so many questions that we should not open that door. The coins are owned by the owner of the private key, of that public key. And if someone get it fine, someone acted, it's him, and that's it. That's the markets, that's the security risk, that's how the protocol works, that's the ownership owner. You have the private key, it's your money. If someone finds it, it's his money. And it should be the same for Satoshi. What will happen is that everyone is already trying to get Satoshi's key. I know people that are running not miners, but literally algorithm that try to guess Satoshi's key. And so their goal is to get the Satoshi's coins, not the new block. And that's it. People will do it. And at some point, one person will move Satoshi's coins. The headline are going to freak out. Your channel is going to explode because Satoshi is back. Probably not. Probably someone just guessed it, and it's one address only of Satoshi that moves. And then it will be a second address and a third one. And over time, those coins will be act. It's not really an act. They will be guess and therefore moved. And that's the free market. And people will put a shit ton of money on machine and equipment to get there. And sadly, even imagining to get the protocol to change to block those coins is not understanding how the Bitcoin protocol consensus works, because no one will accept that. Like it's not possible to get consensus on freezing someone else's coin.
100%. I'm with you on that. You got to let it go. Who owns the private key is the owner of that Bitcoin. It's the only way this system works. So don't you dare go ahead and think that you can freeze somebody else's keys in the name of protecting the network. No, we have some core fundamental beliefs here as Bitcoiners. And if we give up on those, then what are we doing? It's just fiat all over again, right?
Yeah, exactly. It will be socializing the losses. Like, oh, we don't want more Bitcoin to be sold in the market. So what, we freeze it, and then what's next? Do we freeze the Bitcoin of a criminal, and do we freeze the Bitcoin of someone else? Cannot open that door.
Yeah, and then another harebrained experiment in mind to do is like, what if you're someone who's innocent and wrongly put in jail, and you have to move your keys, but you don't have access to them, right? So, I mean, you can't, it's just, there's too many games here to be played, too many different edge cases that we can never know the true outcomes of. So
imagine how cool it would be that some OG just hided the keys for the next 50 years and created like some crazy game of like, okay, in 50 years, some secret is going to be popped on internet. Hey guys, there is like 10,000 BTC hidden in that geolocalization. Go get it. And those coins are just blocked because we decided, that sucks. I want to have the belief that we will find coins in the future, and you have those treasure chests being forever as a private chest accessible to whoever finds it. It's too cool to froze it.
Exactly. Cool. Now let's move over to the treasury section. Steak and Shake announced a $10 million Bitcoin purchase this weekend, describing the approach as a self-reinforcing system that ties sales growth, food quality improvements, and long-term Bitcoin accumulation. So Steak and Shake was one of the feel-good stories of 2025. They came out and said, you can now spend Bitcoin at all of our stores. Use Lightning, and you can just scan the QR and get yourself a nice, tasty burger.
Are they good?
Are they good? Honestly, they're not around where I am. They're not up here in the Northeast. They're more in the Midwest. Yeah. When I go to Vegas this year, I got to try it out there. But yes, I hear good things. They're more of a health focused fast food, if there is such a thing, right. But they use beef tallow to fry their French fries, right? Rather than the regular canola oil and other seed oils that clog your veins. So yeah, this is like, quote unquote, a real Bitcoin treasury company, right? They go out, they provide a service that people want, people pay for it, and then they take those excess profits and turn it into Bitcoin for their treasury, because they know that the dollar is a melting ice cube and they want to protect their earnings. So yeah, Steak and Shake, is this what do you guys think about this over in Europe? Is this a big deal? Who cares? What's the vibe over in Lugano?
For sure, no one care. It's cool. Like, it's cool, but it's one new company that does it. I think what matters is more the global trend and the aggregated stats of all of them at the end of the month and then the quarter and the year, and the trend continue. And I think that's the bullish sign, that more and more companies around the world are moving towards that. So yeah, super. Yeah, mostly that.
But you are in Lugano, so spending Bitcoin on food is not that odd of an occurrence for you, right? You can do it almost everywhere.
Uh, Everywhere I wouldn't say so, but I could definitely switch between all the restaurant forever. So yes, I could truly just live on a Bitcoin standard. Then there will be companies like restaurants that really understand Bitcoin, do not convert it, and lots of other that will have like the POS, and they will convert almost immediately. But if I want to spend, I can definitely spend. And do I spend on food? Yes, to those that keeps the sats. When it's the other, I tend to know that they don't really care about Bitcoin. They don't update the app. And so it's kind of, okay, you played the game, which is good. The city is happy that a lot of people accept it. But you need a reminder of like why you did that or why you accepted it. Um, but yeah, I usually do it in new shops that accept it. It's a nice gesture to support the local economy and get that like that circular economy kind of running.
And
No, will I buy my house? I don't know.
who got that started in Lugano?
So it was if I'm not mistaken, it's a co project between the city of Lugano and Tether at the beginning, was the Plan B Lugano initiative, and they permitted that bootstrapping by providing POS and setting up an application like a wallet for merchant and really like a whole system with Lightning using Bitfinex. And right now, the initiative has been more than 3 years. I think the number of merchants is close to 500, so basically almost everyone. And it continues to be developed. The system has been quite improved. There is some experiment to have like Arc integrated within the POS to really move it to the next level. And no, it's really like Plan B Lugano that is like taking care of it. And so it's part of the umbrella of the Plan B initiative with the forum, Plan B forum. But I think the idea at the beginning was really the Tether guy, so Paolo Arduino,
Cool.
and the city of Lugano.
Nice. No, it's very amazing to see these different global hubs pop up, and Lugano definitely seems like one of the most beautiful of all the Bitcoin cities out there. And of
It
course,
is
you've got
beautiful.
yes, and you had the Bitcoin statue, the Satoshi statue that was vandalized this summer. I remember that. But now
Yes.
it is repaired and it is back. So not only do you guys accept Bitcoin for restaurants and stuff, but you also have a statue for Satoshi
Yeah,
himself.
and we have a hub. We have the proof of work hub, which is a co-working building for any Bitcoiners to go. There's a lot of offices by big Bitcoin company, and we have a weekly meetup there, the Satoshi Spritz. So there's really a very vibrant community of developers, business people in Lugano to build that new economy. And the beauty is that we are really supported by the city. So the town council is really behind with the Plan B initiative globally. We work with universities, so yeah, it's a cool citadel getting together slowly because that's Swiss, but it's getting together block by block, and I think that's what matters at the end.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, one thing Roxy just said right there was that he was down to spend Bitcoin for food at a restaurant, but he wouldn't necessarily buy a house with it. Well, we've got a solution for you. This is why we want to talk about Arch, the world's leading destination for Bitcoin backed loans. Arch provides world class security and white glove service so you never have to sell your Bitcoin. Okay, let's talk about this. So if you're listening to this stream, you did the hard part. You stacked your Bitcoin. You held. You did not panic sell. You did not think that the 4-year cycle was going to go and make sure that Bitcoin crashed 80%. Well, still, real life happens. There are taxes or new opportunities, big purchases like a house. And selling your Bitcoin after doing all that hard work, it feels just sort of wrong. And that is why Arch exists. Think of it like a flexible line of credit with rates starting as low as 8.5% APR. You borrow what you need, repay anytime, and only pay interest on what you use, all without triggering a tax event. The best part, the Bitcoin stays yours. Arch has a strict no rehypothecation policy, so your collateral is never lent out. It's held in qualified, insured, bankruptcy, remote custody with full transparency. So you keep your Bitcoin and you just loans with the fiat that you need out. Boom. you get that big purchase paid for. So get your cash today at archlending.com. That's ARCH lending.com. Yeah, it's a new world out there, and we want to make sure that people are aware of it all. And so in terms of Bitcoin and Bitcoin treasury companies, there's one more thing that we need to talk about that came up this week. And that is this hit piece from the New York Times. They published a hit piece on Michael Saylor, casting him as a fraudster and drawing criticism from Van Eck for pulling quotes wildly out of context. So they launched this hit piece on Saylor, and the crazy thing is that they're getting a lot of hate from, of course, the Bitcoin community, but also people that they quoted. So Matthew Siegel, he's head of digital assets over at Van Eck, and he said the failing New York Times tried to run a hit piece on MicroStrategy this morning. Unfortunately for their readers, they yanked Jan Van Eck's quote wildly out of context. When he said, "We've stayed away," he was just talking about not turning Van Eck into a MicroStrategy style treasury holder, not our view on the company or its stock price. In reality, we own 284,000 shares for its clients, sit comfortably in the top 75 holders, and bought more in recent weeks. Unfortunately for the readers, that context didn't make the article. So yeah, I mean, this was a pretty wild hit piece coming out on strategy. What's your take on MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor as we are in the year 2026?
Damn, it's a big question. I don't know. I'm always scared of that giant centralization. Would I want it to go away? Yes. Do I think it's going to go away? Probably not. Am I happy that there is a lot more competition, different product, different security, different restriction of treasury company to compete? Yes. Do I think it makes sense long term? I'm still questioning, to be honest, where does the yield come from and stuff like that. I may be super old school. Do I like Michael Saylor? I think it did provided a whole new narrative to Bitcoin, kind of changed the dynamic back in 2022, I think. 2022, something like that.
2020 he started, yeah.
Yeah, he started, yeah. And then really kind of picked up. And now it's here. Like, I mean, there's treasury company everywhere. We work with them on a daily basis. They are around the world. They are popping up. It was not in my bingo card when I started. I was kind of skeptical at the beginning. No. Does it help the distribution of Bitcoin? Does it help to make it more legitimized? Does it help to make it to that price and really be seen as a serious asset? Yes. And another thing I know of is that in his team at MicroStrategy, there is the head of Bitcoin education, or the head of Bitcoin, let's say, that is really doing a really good job trying to talk to regulator, to talk to all the bankers, to other big head of big company in the US. So at least the education on that level is being done. And I know that they are a big part of that spread of knowledge, and we cannot really take that away from them. Would I want them to self-custody and push it to be more, let's own now crypto or Bitcoin? What's the Bitcoin? Yes. Will it happen? Probably not. Could the government one day take the Bitcoin of MicroStrategy to repay the debt and take that critical strategy reserve because aliens show up? Yes, it is possible one day, because it's just here for the government to take the day they need it.
Yeah, it does create a honeypot, right? And he's got 680,000 plus Bitcoin now. Quite the stack. And it is impressive what he's been able to do over the last 5 years. And I guess what it really comes down to is, what do you think is the end goal for Bitcoin, right? If we're truly to separate money from state, there's going to be this TradFiization of Bitcoin in some regards, right? All the biggest financial institutions are going to want in, and the early adopters, these companies, are able to get as much Bitcoin as possible. And the moat that he's been able to build now, like, that's going to be uncatchable, right? I don't think anybody else will be able to amass as much Bitcoin as he has been able to.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. some people are really well positioned to try to compete. So obviously, Plan B, we are supported financially by Tether. So I would say that Tether with that company, I think it's called 21, with Mahler, Jack Mahler, and with I think it's the bank, the bank. They have some opportunity to do so. But yeah, it's a crazy mode. And what is the future of Bitcoin? Probably Bitcoin is the central bank of the world, and government are just like a client to him. And Michael Saylor is a central bank, a private central bank for other entities at the end.
Yeah, that's one way it all could play out. But the New York Times is not having it. I mean, just look at this headline. Is this billionaire a financial genius or a fraudster? And then they've got this like demonic image of him in like 1980s vaporwave type of style. Michael Saylor's financial alchemy thrust an ordinary software company strategy into the center of the crypto frenzy. It all worked spectacularly until now. So it's a very long article. They hate on him quite a lot, making fun of his parties and the videos of him and the AI images that he posts on the internet. But I do think that a lot of this hate from the New York Times and the media comes from the fact that Bitcoin has been sort of taken under the wing by Trump, right? The Bitcoiners were a big part of him getting reelected back in 2024. And so now Bitcoin is sort of Trump tainted a bit, right? And so this apolitical money has a Republican scent to it that is not real, but just in this time in history, we are dealing with that. So that explains why the New York Times would come out so violently against Bitcoin and its biggest proponents, like Michael Saylor. Does Europe see that? Does Europe think that Bitcoin has a Trump flavor these days?
Yeah, I think they do. For sure, it's not socialist, even though Bitcoin is a politic and helps everyone. So it's definitely socialist if we think about it helps the people and go against the banking system. But they don't get it. They believe that Bitcoin, mostly in France and around that zone, let's say, yeah, it's something of the right. It's something very libertarian. It's very attached to Miller in Argentina, to Bukele, and all of that political movements that is undeniably happening and getting traction heavily with sometimes military forces, whether we agree or not. So yeah, I'd say that Bitcoin is political and it is clearly on the right wing of it, and also Musk not helping, not adding on top of that equation. I think it's worldwide. Yeah, it is what it is. Like you said, it's a politic. We cannot decide it. It could have gone the opposite way for some reason. It got this way, most likely because of the fundamental technological value and economics of Bitcoin that makes it obviously a great store of value. So it's investment. Investment is money. Money is right. I make it super short, but to some nutshell, it helps quite a lot in Europe to think this way. That will it change? That's a big question. Will it change? I think if the only way it could change is that if the right do become like a fascist dictatorship, like the left will say, then the left will need tools to fight back against the authoritarian regime and the cartel of bankers and politicians. And then they will need to use an open source technology that cannot be censored and that cannot be controlled by a state. And that will be Bitcoin. And they need to understand that Bitcoin is for everyone because it's a freedom technology. I think that narrative will play out in part of the world at some point. Will it be in the US? I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of my take.
Yeah, and I do agree with you that Bitcoin is there for when people need it, right? And it sort of shows its censorship resistance when the situation arises. Like, look, when it was born, right, in the financial crisis, and then it was really gained popularity during Silk Road and the war on drugs and being able to transact freely. And then in 2020, it was resistance money in the sense that all the governments around the world were printing like crazy, and we had one escape route, and that was Bitcoin. And Bitcoiners were able to unite around that field, especially as governments were keeping us trapped inside and having a lot of a heavy thumb on our daily lives. Bitcoin offered a way, and the culture around it, a group of people that thought like this, that we want to be free, and Bitcoin allows us to do that. So right now, it's sort of won a lot with the institutional forces, whether it's government or the banks. And so we don't really have that screw the man mentality right now. But the properties of Bitcoin are not changing, and it will be ready to serve that role when it is needed once again. Will the left find that first, or will it be too blinded? We will see. So then I want to bring up our political section here. Cool law coming out of Rhode Island. They are introducing a Bitcoin tax exemption that would exclude up to $1,000 per day in Bitcoin transactions from transactional tax, from state income and capital gains taxes, capped at 10 transactions per 30 days. So is this ideal? I mean, of course, you would still have to pay capital gains taxes to the federal government, but this is the steps in the right direction. We want to see this so that Bitcoin can be used more easily as everyday money. And Rhode Island is taking up that flag. But the main story I want to talk about here is Iran sees a surge in Bitcoin withdrawals to personal wallets following the January 8th internet shutdown, as the rial sharply weakens and users turn to self-custody as a hedge against censorship. So perfect example of what we were just talking about. When situations get hard, people turn to the money that is an open protocol that they can get to, even when the banks say no. But they're also dealing with an internet shutdown. So what do we do here? Have you looked into mesh networks, BitChat, sending Bitcoin without using the internet?
Exactly. You just said it. We also have Machunkura in Africa that is using like the SMS rail of the telecommunication of phones. The solution is Mesh Network. BitChat is really amazing. I was actually with Kelly recently. He made me like a whole demo. We chatted about it quite a lot. It's going to take time, but this is the solution. I think we've even created some demo with some students of some transaction through Mesh Network that is then rebroadcasted to people that don't know it's about Bitcoin transaction, and they really, because the Mesh Network is a connection of short range nodes between each other that create like a global network that is different from internet. And it already exists. It already exists outside of the Bitcoin world, but it can send only small package. So the idea is to be able to basically have some of those Mesh Network node to really focus on Bitcoin, get that information from the network, and then broadcast it for other people. And we also need like an easy solution for a transaction to be breaking down, package, and sent through the network. Now, should it happen in Europe? Are we ready? We are building it, but the reality is that it's in war zone. It's in places with dictatorship where activists are already using those networks, and now Bitcoin is taking leverage of those existing networks that are trying to be to survive, because obviously the government is trying to shut down those networks as much as they're being built by the opposite parties. But yeah, the solution is more robust internet, various ways to get out of the classical rail, Mesh Network, BitChat, and hopefully we will figure it out other solution and continue to put R&D on it. So the same way people are putting money on quantum, I would say put money on how do we move away from the internet in case the traditional internet, let's say, in case we are being attacked.
Yeah, Giacomo was talking about that last week in terms of tech improvements for Bitcoin in 2026. He was saying that Bitcoin, we've gotten to a point now where we can look backwards and see all the rails on which we've been built upon and how can we improve them, right? So yeah, things like mesh networks and BitChat, they are the future, but it does take participation. Correct. You need these devices, multiple of them across a city, across a country, in order for them to communicate and create a robust network for communication to flow. So again, that takes education, us talking about it, sharing stuff online, and making sure that people see the reasons why they should take the effort to learn about it and run it themselves.
Yeah, something that we could imagine is that in the future, the Bitcoiners will be sovereign, hopefully. So they will have their BTC in their cold storage, but they will also run a node. And to some degree, a Start9, an Umbrel node could be part of that global network. We could have an app that, like a Tor relay, is a small network relay. We could have those people running like a small satellite. We could have those people really pushing that network because it will be part of the sovereign stack flow that you need. You need your own server, you need your own start link, you need your own node wallet, 3D printed, and so you will need to be plugged into the mesh network because you will become like kind of an exit rail for your friends and family. They will not have it, but you will do the hard work to have it so they can go to you automatically, obviously, the day they need it. And so I think it's going to become part of the Bitcoin journey, a very far and advanced step of your Bitcoin journey, obviously, but it will be part of your Bitcoin journey to support those networks.
That's a real cypherpunk vision, man. You know, you are that node to support your friends and family in times of need by building that sovereign stack and having all the tools at your disposal. It's a very cool vision. Well, Roxy, we are here at the end of our hour. Please tell people a little bit more about Plan B, why they should sign up, and the deadlines for what's coming up.
Yeah, for sure. So you can go to planb.academy, or if you are on network, you press start learning. That's our e-learning platform where we have all the courses. Most of them are free. And if you are in that page, we have live classes, and that will give you the program. It's the Biz and Tech School program. It starts in 3 weeks. There is a discount code from BitNews that is, let me get the note. The discount code is, I don't know what it is, but you have a discount code to get some promotion with Bitcoin News. We will provide it to you at some point. And yeah, join it. I'm going to be the teacher for the Biz, and Asio, the director of program, will be the teacher for the Dev one. And again, the classes will be online, recorded. You can do it from anywhere. It's going to be quite intense. And if you are among the best students, you will be getting an assignment from one of the top company. And if you are the best of the best, then you can come to Lugano for 1 week of intensive classes physically with those teacher and entrepreneur. And if you're really the best of the best, you will be hired most likely by those company and join the builder of tomorrow. And so if you're on the website, you can go to live classes, and that will give you the, on the left, live classes are the classes that are really lived, and the Plan B program will be the one we are doing, I'm promoting right now. And that will give you all the information on the deadline, the curriculum, and stuff like that. So yeah, keep learning and share it around, build it, build stuff cool with Bitcoin. And honestly, guys, if you are here, it's already good. You made most of the hard step. You decided to unplug yourself from the traditional propaganda, and you are getting the news for the Bitcoin world. So continue, get educated. Don't believe your education journey stops, because there's so much to learn. And the best place to learn is Plan B Network. There you go.
Beautiful. Great pitch. No, and it's a wonderful website. It looks so nice, and it's just very inviting for anybody, no matter your level of Bitcoin education, to jump right in. There's going to be something there that sparks your interest, and you can learn something new. Awesome. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Bitcoin News Weekly here on the Daily Stack. Sign up for the newsletter. Join us every single day. We're going live 5 days a week. We're just kicking off Monday right here at 12:30 p.m. Eastern every single day. You'll know where to tune in, get your Bitcoin news, get your information, have some fun, be a part of this movement. We're having a great time. Thank you so much, Roxy. Until next time, everybody, this has been Rob with Bitcoin News.